following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Good morning. How y'all doing? We got a lot to get to today, and we're going to start. I guess we just gonna go on in and get into it. Now, I wrote down some takes, and I remember exactly what I was going to talk about. Now I have completely forgotten. So welcome to Casey's World, Georgia TCU. Thank you, Justin, for saving me. We're going to talk Georgia TCU. Then we're going to talk probably some Vols football, some Titans football, high school sports, but let's go ahead and get on into it. First take, Georgia TCU. That was a disaster of a football game. It was last Monday. I was in town for Creekwood Bowling, and we had quarterfinals of the region tournament. We bowled that, and Marty, the photographer in Dixon, he was at the bowling tournament as well. And we both decided we were going to go to Dixon for the Dixon-McEwen game on Monday night. And everybody was kind of watching it and more or less waiting, and I think everybody kind of had the idea, hey, everybody that was at that game anyway was like, hey, we're going to watch this game. We'll go home, catch the second half of the Georgia TCU game. And it was already over before we could leave Dixon County High School. I think it was 38-7 at half, or it was 38-7 by the time I left the game. Left the Dixon game. Excuse me. I was able to pull it up. I was able to pull up the game on my phone, and I actually watched. I watched a drive or two, and I could tell within the 4 or 5 minutes that I saw on my phone, TCU was getting absolutely no push up front, and Georgia was absolutely dominating them at the line of scrimmage. And I turned around and I looked at everybody that I knew, and I said, this thing could get ugly. And it sure did. It really did. And something else too, I don't even know who the kid was. I don't know which kid I don't know which player it was. But I saw a video on Twitter of one of these Georgia kids saying that y'all said we were going to go 5-7 or 6-6. Nobody ever said that. I do remember some people saying the defense lost 14 draft picks or whatever God's name it was, 7 or 8 draft picks. The defense lost all this from, it's just going to take a little bit of step back. Everybody kind of thought the defense wouldn't be as good as it was last year. And I still don't think it is as good as it was last year, even though it's insane. Georgia defense is still insane. That's what happens when you recruit and have like 25 stars and like 45 4 stars. Kirby Smart did a great job if he's got those kids believing that everybody thought they were going to go 6-6. He's motivating the crap out of these kids. Kirby Smart did exactly what he needed to do. He had these kids ready to play. Now, I'm not exactly sure how any of those kids on that team thought that anybody else on this planet thought they were going to go 6-6. In the SEC East, which has not been very good for a while now, I think everybody kind of thought they could sleepwalk to at least 10 wins. Even if they weren't very good, and they were extremely good. They're also gamers. You got to give, Bulldogs credit. You got to give Kirby Smart credit. They're gamers. If they're playing Kent State, if they're playing Missouri in, excuse me, I'm coughing and don't sound good. Sorry about that. But if you're playing Missouri in week 6 or week 7, and you just literally do not care about being there, yeah, it's going to look like crap. And Drinkwitz had his team ready to go, and they come out fighting hard. The fighting Eli Drinkwitz, and they come out there in Missouri. You got to give them credit. They played really good football, and played really hard against a really good team. And Georgia won that game. But Georgia, when they have to play a big game, they show up, and they have done it now all year long. The Oregon game showed everybody that they were here to play. They could beat anybody. Now, I think that Oregon game first, everybody said, oh, God, here we go again. Georgia is on a whole nother level. Let's see if anybody else is with them. And it wound up not being the case. Now, Ohio State's pretty close, right? And I think if Michigan and TCU replay that game 10 times, Michigan probably wins 8 times. But they didn't win the time they needed to. So that's why the playoff works, and I like it. The championship game itself was very bad, but I don't really think that's a talking point against a playoff. In fact, I think it's probably a talking point for adding more teams to the playoff. Every other tournament, every other great sport in the world has a tournament to find the winner. So I don't know why college football wouldn't be the same. So I'm sorry to all of you TCU fans. I know you expected better than that. Listen, you still got a heck of a coach. He only lost twice this year in his first year back, or his first year there. I think TCU just won 2 games like last year or the year before. So, hey, Horned Frog, you're doing all right. I know that Monday was not what you wanted, but if you're a TCU fan, you still might be a little bit down about that national championship, and a lot of people are going to give you crap. You're going to have to hear a lot of crap over the offseason, over the next few weeks. Everybody's going to talk about how bad that game was. But if you're a TCU fan, you've got a heck of a coach. You've got some really good momentum. Congratulations to those guys for a wonderful season. But Monday was just not a game. It was not worth watching. After I left Dixon after the basketball game, I went to I go up to Applebee's. I got a buddy of mine who works up there, and I met another really good friend of mine and my cousin and my cousin's girlfriend. They were all up there hanging out. So I went up there, watched a little bit of the game, watched the end of the game, and of course Georgia, whenever they're like scoring more of their points there at the end, I look over at my buddy. He's a Georgia fan. His name's Austin. I kind of like hit him in the arm, and I'm like, man, why don't you quit it? And we all started having a good time. Of course, I'm not a TCU fan, so I didn't care, but we had tried to have a good time with it, making jokes and stuff. But you got to tip your cap sometimes. You got to tip your cap. So congratulations, Georgia, back to back. I think that's pretty neat. I think that's actually really cool. That I wish it would have literally been like, okay, not Florida and not Alabama, and preferably not Georgia. But like, it's cool to see back-to-back national champions because it's just something that doesn't happen very often. But all right, we're going to do the DMA read, and then we're going to come back and get into the second take. So Casey's Take is brought to you by DMA Orthopedics and Dr. Anthony Tropiano. Dr. Anthony Tropiano provides patients with prompt, effective treatment using the best technology available and in a manner that is compassionate and understanding of their needs. Dr. Tropiano is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. Call 615-441-4522 today. That's 615-441-4522.
At Dixon Medical Associates, your health is our #1 priority. With over 40 providers, our goal is to bring excellent, convenient, and comprehensive medical care to our community. Dixon Medical Associates, a destination for care.
Oof, I've been coughing my head off. All right, now as for the second take, Titans fired Downing. I think this was something else Monday during the bowling match right before the Georgia TCU game and the Dixon basketball game. We were in the middle of our match, and the photographer Marty walks up to me and Marty says, "Hey, Titans fired Downing." So I pulled out my phone real quick, and I had a bunch of sorry guys, I keep coughing. But I pulled out my phone, and I had a bunch of missed text messages, and I thought, yeah, they fired Downing, because I didn't even need to read the text messages. I knew it was all my buddies and talking about one of them legitimately said the words hallelujah, and I think part of the conversation was the fact that he didn't know how to spell hallelujah. Hopefully that gives you a good laugh. But I know I'm not going to say I was happy that they fired Downing. I hate that anybody gets fired, but he needed to go, right? And I'm not going to sit here and bask in the glory of somebody just being really bad and having a bad season and getting fired. Like, I mean, I didn't enjoy watching this year. There's a part of me that is happy that the Titans will have a new offensive play caller and hopefully a new offensive identity moving forward. But I'm not happy about people performing poorly. You know, I guess I'm happy that they're going to find somebody else to do it, but I don't sit here and hoot and holler whenever somebody gets fired, but he did need to go. So they fired Downing. They got Keith Carter, too, the offensive lineman. One of the offensive analysts, Eric Frazier, something like that. Probably a few other folks on the way out the door, too. But I'd love to see the Titans go out and get some brainiac kid, some Mike McDaniels-looking kid that knows how to run an offense. That'd be really neat. But who knows what's going to happen. Now, the third take, which I'm kind of just going to more or less go into, is what the Titans can do different going forward. And now, I kind of just alluded to it a second ago, but I personally, me and some friends were talking about it the other day. Somebody brought up the name Joe Brady, and I know Joe Brady didn't have all the success he wanted in Carolina. And I don't necessarily think the Titans have a great roster, but that 2019 LSU season showed that kid is something special, Joe Brady. I think he knows how to run an offense. At least he knows how to call plays. I think he does. Then again, I may be wrong. So who knows? But I'd like to see Joe Brady. I've seen a few other names for offensive coordinator. Speaking of offensive coordinator, I saw a name pop up on my phone the other day. I don't want this guy, but Dow Loggins was a name that popped up. I don't know why I saw it, but I think he's a offensive coordinator at a school somewhere, maybe like a college somewhere around here. Maybe not around here, but somewhere. I don't know why I thought of that, but I just had to bring that up. I was like, oh, my goodness. It's been a long time since I'd seen that name. I'm not really exactly sure who all else to go get. I like Joe Brady. Somebody asked me what I wanted to do the other day. I was like, go get Sean Payton from New Orleans and tell him, hey, man, just go call plays. You don't worry about defense. Let Mike Vrabel be the head coach. You just go be offensive coordinator. I don't think Payton would do that, and I don't want to give the Saints a first-round pick because that's what they expect for a player. Going to get the Bill Parcells treatment, but that's neither here nor there. But there is a part of me that just wants the Titans to bring in new, fresh blood, somebody that's going to have different ideas. Mike has always just kind of hired from within, and I mean I get that, you know, Arthur Smith was a hit. I think, you know, he did pretty good as an offensive coordinator. And I will be the first to admit I may have been a little wrong on whenever Arthur Smith left. I said that it didn't bother me. I didn't think that our offensive performance really had a lot to do with him. And I don't think it has nearly as much as some people think it had to do with him. But it was enough because Downing was bad. Now, of course, this roster hadn't been very good either. The offensive line doesn't block. Sorry about that. Like I said, I've been coughing. I don't sound good, so y'all just got to deal with parts of that. But Arthur Smith is a guy that I may have overestimated or underestimated what he was for this organization. So, hey, I'll admit that one. That one's on me. Maybe. But I would like to see, you know, go get one of those Shanahan guys. Go get somebody that's coached under Shanahan. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is hailing outside. It is loud out here. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it is pounding the top of my house. My car's outside getting beat on too. Lord have mercy. And I can see these balls of hail. They're like fairly large. Goodness gracious. I don't know what kind of weather y'all got going on out there, but I'll be all right. I ain't worried about it. But other than that, I know the Titans got, I think somebody said the 11th pick in the draft. As of right now, maybe. It wouldn't bother me if the Titans were able to move back in the draft. I'd love to accrue more picks and move a little bit further back. If you don't have one of those top like 6 or 7 picks, you usually miss out on the really good quarterback that you want or the elite talented players. Once you start picking in the middle teens, which I know 11 isn't that, but once you start getting into the double-digit numbers, you kind of miss out on those really, really good players. So I maybe the Titans move up and go get somebody nutty. Maybe they move back. I don't really know. But one thing that I do love is I watch. I'll see on Facebook or Twitter these guys will run these mock drafts, and then they'll share their screenshot of their mock draft. And you can tell that these guys that do these mock drafts are like when they watch college football on Saturday, like they only watch SEC. So they're like, instead of drafting some defensive back from Texas or a receiver from Ohio State, they'll go out and they'll draft like Alabama's third defensive end because that's the kid they know over somebody else, and it's just kind of funny. But y'all should check out some of the mock drafts, see who's available. Maybe that's something we'll do next week. I'll have you guys send in who you think ought to be the Titans' first overall pick, and I'm going to tell all of you why you're wrong or right. Maybe we'll do that. If you've got something you want to send me, send it to me. CVP51 on Twitter. But we're gonna do one more DMA read, and then y'all come back. We're gonna talk high school sports, the most important segment of the day. But Casey Steak is brought to you by DMA Orthopedics and Dr. Anthony Tropiano. Dr. Anthony Tropiano provides patients with prompt, effective treatment using the best technology available and in a manner that is compassionate and understanding of their needs. Dr. Tropiano is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. Call 615-441-4522 today. That's 615-441-4522.
Here at Dixon Medical Associates, we've got you covered from neck to toe. Our orthopedics team offers services in sports medicine, foot and ankle reconstruction, spinal surgery, and more. We also have in-house imaging and physical therapy. Dixon Medical Associates. We specialize in what moves you.
All right. Just a few things in high school sports. So far this week over in Cheatham, I was at Sycamore Cheatham game Tuesday night, and that was a lot of fun. The Sycamore Lady War Eagles won in Cheatham County at Ashland City for the first time in 6 or 7 years. And then the boys for Cheatham were able to get a little bit of revenge in the nightcap. Also, the battle for Cheatham County was Sycamore won the battle for Cheatham County, the big wrestling tournament they have between all three schools. That was also Tuesday evening. Let's see. I want to say, and of course, over in Dixon, we've been bowling kind of heavy this week. We bowled heavy last week. I got to take a few minutes here and just tell y'all. Now, as most of you know, I'm an assistant coach for the Creekwood bowling team. And although all the coaches and I we kind of believe that we're more or less rotating coaches and we all help everybody, which we do. During matches, Scott kind of helps the girls and I'm more with the boys. And Coach Cassie, Scott's wife, she helps everybody out, kind of goes back and forth between both teams. So I've always kind of felt like the boys coach, I guess, per se. And this is my 7th year coaching, and we've never made it past region quarterfinals. That was just every year that we had made it up to that point. That was always our last match. And this year we were able to finally get past that point, get over the hump, and we were able to defeat Lawrence County in the region semifinals to punch our ticket to a sectional tournament. Now, we did wind up losing the region championship to Franklin, and hats off to Franklin. Like I was talking about earlier, hats off. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but you gotta give that to Franklin. They their coach told us that their boys bowled better than they had ever bowled against us. And sometimes that happens. But regardless, Creekwood boys are still alive. They will bowl a sectional round on next Monday at, I believe it's Hermitage Bowling Alley against Green Hill. I think Green Hill and Mount Juliet bowl tonight for a region championship. Creekwood will get the loser. Franklin will get the host. No, excuse me. Creekwood will get the winner of that. Franklin that beat Creekwood. Franklin will get to host the loser of the Green Hill Mount Juliet match tonight. Let's see. Also, last Saturday was I think it was last Saturday, the Dixon Creekwood game. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that one. Let's see. What else we got? Dixon, of course, swept McEwen Monday. That one was not both. I'll tell you this, both the Dixon boys and girls coaches, Coach Aaron Webb for the Lady Cougars and Coach Palace for the Cougars, both of them weren't exactly happy with the performance of their kids, and both teams wound up winning by a lot. So good for them. Let's see. Creekwood hosts Greenbrier Friday. I'll be out there at that. I think Harpeth hosts Nashville Christian tonight. We're going to have Bill out there shooting that. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it out there tonight. But that's about everything we got going on. A little bit of a shorter show today. I'm under the weather. I mean, even the weather's under the weather. It feels like crap outside. I feel like crap inside. So sorry about the shorter show today. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, though. Make sure y'all come back and see me next week. I'll be doing much better. I won't sound like this. I promise. But we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all later. So y'all have a good evening. Come back and see me next week.